Peace and blessings, world. Hope everyone's doing well. Today, we're going to be breaking down the word negativity. It's more than just bad vibes. It's about focusing on our problems, expecting the worst, and letting it weigh us down. Let's talk about what it really means and how it shows up in our everyday lives. Welcome to episode 2 of Uncle Jesse Talks. So today, we're specifically going to be going over the emotional and psychological definitions of negativity, right? With the emotional and psychological definitions, we have traits. It's specifically talking about the attitude, the mindset, and the behaviors of being negative. We have several traits that are associated with that. We have frequently complaining or criticizing. Someone that's just continuously complaining. The main word in that is frequently, okay? There are valid complaints and there are valid criticisms. Trust and believe that. But you have frequent complaining or criticizing. That's really, really common. I see that a lot. Next one, expecting failure instead of success. The main word in that one, expecting, okay? You do have some situations where like if you're unprepared, you're not going to be successful, Wisdom comes in and wisdom says if you don't prepare, you're not going to be successful. But you have some people that are frequently or expecting failure instead of success. And that's negativity. Seeing problems without looking for solutions. You have those who are excessive complainers, who are criticizing, and they don't offer any solutions. Obviously, in a fast food scenario, you can't really offer too much, solutions for that because you're not working there, like you're not in charge. You're not getting paid for the services. So, you can't really offer too much solution when it comes to that. But if, let's say you're amongst family or friends and you just start, or someone, not even you, but someone goes on a tangent or a rant about something and it just turns negative, turns completely negative. You have the ability to offer solutions. If you see an issue with somebody's haircut, an issue with somebody's hairdo, and you're not offering any solutions, that's negativity. Focusing on flaws instead of strengths. I see that a lot. When you're continuously focusing on someone's negative traits, everyone has negative traits. I have my own negative traits. You have to be able to see the strengths in someone, because when you continuously point out the flaws in someone, like, you can really affect them, their self-esteem, especially if it's little children. It's important to tell children about their strengths more than you tell them about their weaknesses. It's also important to be aware of your weaknesses now. That way you can improve on them. But you always should, expound on someone's strengths as well. And sometimes, let's just get this out of the way. Sometimes it's not your place to tell someone what their negative traits are, okay? It's not your place sometimes. So we have to also use discernment to understand when it's our place to show someone or tell someone about their negative traits and when it isn't. Spreading discouragement to others. Just being discouraging, being negative. Like this one is like just continuously just coming around and just throwing a blanket of like your issues on someone continuously, and it's spreading. It's like a canker, a canker that just won't get better because you're continuously you're spreading it to everyone else. I'm a firm believer that energy transfers, which is why I have a huge thing on, if I'm not feeling the best, I'm not going to want to talk to nobody. I'm not going to want to be around people, because I'm a firm believer that energy transfers, whether it's negative or positive. So you have to be very, very cautious about the state of being that you're in, the mindset that you're in when you're around a group of people or even a person, because that energy can transfer over to them and cause them to become depressed, cause them to be discouraged. And we just don't want to do that. Examples of that in everyday life that we see is, oh, this will never work. And you're continuously saying that over and over again. Most negative people are known for being negative. They have a reputation for it, right? So we just have to reverse that mindset and look at the positive in things. Positive reinforcement whenever we start to feel negative, because I know it's normal to have those days where you just feeling negative and you just feel like you have so much that's going on that you can't really see a positive light in the specific situation. I think that it's important to have that positive reinforcement. Like if you're trying to study for an exam, I'm currently studying for an exam myself, so this is helping me. If you're studying for an exam and you're like, oh, I'm never going to pass this test, words are powerful. Words are very, very powerful. So you always want to speak life. You always want to speak positivity in everything that you're doing. Even if you feel like you're not prepared or you're not going to do well, you have to speak that positivity into your life on everything that you do. That's extremely important. Extremely important. Also have the always pointing out what's wrong in the plan without offering help. That goes back to seeing problems with something without offering a solution. You have to at least try your hardest to offer solutions when it's deemed necessary, because sometimes, like I mentioned before, it's not your place to offer solutions to things. Sometimes it's just not your place. Sometimes it's your place is just to listen. Sometimes people just need an ear. They don't need your input on, oh, I need to fix this situation. And you also have to be very, very aware of whether you have the tools to be able to help a situation. That's important as well. So we want to keep that in mind when we're going in our everyday lives, when we're dealing with people on an everyday basis, whether you're at work, whether you're at church, whether you're, out in the grocery store, whether you're on the phone with regular friends or family. We have to be very, very cognitive of how we communicate and what we allow to be said and what we allow ourselves to say to our friends or family. Today, that was the word negativity. I hope everyone is able to learn a little bit about how that affects people, how it affects people negatively, what in the world? But how it affects people negatively, and use good tactics and good measures to reverse that, putting that positive reinforcement in everything that we do, as well as speaking positive, speaking life, speaking good things instead of negative, all right? So I hope everyone got something from this. I know I did. It helped me a lot. And we'll see you next time on the next episode of Uncle Jesse Talks.